A small signal floated alone in space. It came from a broken, rusted beacon near the edge of the galaxy. No one knew who had placed the beacon there. No one claimed it. No empire dared to go close. But every few hours, the beacon played the same. Message: do not enter. Nothing lives beyond this point. Not even light. The message was in a strange mix of languages, some ancient, some new. Even human ears could recognize one part in English. Dead zone ahead. Turn back. For hundreds of years, ships avoided that place. Star maps marked it in red. The Galactic Council named it Sector 0, but to most, it was known by another name. The dead zone. No stars shined inside it. No planets had been mapped. All signals vanished when sent inside. And no ship that went in had ever come back. Until now. The human ship Un's Valor floated near the edge of the zone. It was a medium-class explorer, built for long missions and deep space travel. Its silver hull shimmered under the light of a dying sun behind it. But ahead, there was only black. The crew of 5 stood on the bridge in silence. Captain Mira Dorn stared at the dark screen in front of her. She was in her late 30s, with sharp eyes and a steady voice. But even she felt the weight of the moment. "Are we really doing this?" asked Commander Rail, the pilot. He was tall, quiet, and often calm in danger, but his fingers trembled. "Now, we go," Myra said simply. The others looked at each other. Dr. Leon Vu, the ship's science officer, frowned. "Captain, this place has swallowed empires. Even the Varn Dominion lost a dreadnought here." "I know," Myra said. "So why us?" Asked Chief Engineer Sol Reyes, leaning against the wall. "Why send a human crew? Why not drones?" Myra turned slowly. "Because a message came out," she said. "A human voice." Everyone froze. "Wait, what?" Rail whispered. 2 months ago, Mira said. Earth's deep listening array caught a faint signal. It was weak, broken, but it was in English. She tapped a button. A crackling audio played over the ship's speakers. "If anyone hears this, this is Captain Adrian Locke, Unsea Pioneer. I'm still alive. Please don't trust." The rest was static. Reyes stepped back. Un's Pioneer went missing. Over 100 years ago. Dr. Vu looked pale. But that ship was lost in another part of the galaxy. Now its signal comes from the dead zone? Yes, Mira nodded. We're not here to explore. We're here to answer that voice. A long silence followed. Navigation? Mira asked. Rail took a deep breath. All systems ready. But once we crossed the line, no star maps, no comms, no sensors, just dead instruments. Then we go old school, Myra said. Manual flight, internal logs. We go in, get answers, and come back. Assuming anything inside lets us come back. Reyes muttered. Myra ignored him. Final check. Everyone clear? The crew nodded slowly. Hesitantly. Myra tapped the console. Un's Valor entering Sector 0. The engines hummed. The ship moved forward. And the stars disappeared. The moment they crossed the boundary, everything changed. Outside the ship, the universe went black. Not just dark empty. No stars, no light, no reflection. It was like they were floating in ink. Inside, the screens showed static. The ship's AI gave up trying to scan anything. Even time felt strange. Seconds dragged. Minutes felt heavy. I hate this, Reyes whispered. Maintain heading, Myra said. They floated deeper into the black. Then something moved. It wasn't on the radar. It wasn't on the cameras. But everyone felt it. Vu turned sharply. Did anyone see that? Rail shook his head. Nothing on visuals. I saw something outside, she said. A shape. Just for a second. Myra looked at her. Where? Vu pointed to the starboard window. Everyone turned. For a moment. Nothing. Then a flicker. A shadow passed by. Fast, like something swimming. Through ink. Confirmed, Myra said. Something's out there. Life form? Vu asked. Could be. Mira turned. But we don't chase shadows. Stay on course. Then a knock came from inside the ship. Everyone froze. It was soft, hollow, like metal tapping from the walls. Knock, knock. Rail stood slowly. That's not possible. Vu looked at the wall. It came from cargo bay 2. Seal the room, Myra ordered. Reyes typed fast. Door sealed. Internal sensors show. Nothing. Still, Myra said, suit up. Within minutes, Mira, Vu, and Reyes wore thin exosuits and carried flashlights. They moved slowly through the ship toward cargo bay 2. Rail stayed on the bridge, hands gripping the controls. They reached the door. It was still sealed. But something was written on it. A smear, brown-red. Words scratched in something thick. It read, "We woke IT." Reyes stepped back. That wasn't there before. Myra nodded. Open it. Reyes hesitated, then typed the override. The door slid. Open slowly. The room was dark. Flashlights flicked on. Crates and supplies were stacked neatly. Nothing looked disturbed. Until Vu pointed. Look. A small object floated mid-air. It was. Spinning. A coin. Reyes whispered, Gravity's still on. That shouldn't float. Mira walked closer. The coin spun faster. A sound rose low, humming. Then it dropped. Silence returned. Take it, Mira said. Vu picked it up carefully. It was not human. The metal was unknown. Symbols were carved on it, some glowing faintly. Back on the bridge, Rail called in. Captain, we've picked something up. We thought sensors were down, Mira said. They are, Rail said. But something just peered in front of us. They rushed back to the bridge. Through the front window, something floated ahead. A massive object, still, silent, a ship. But it was unlike anything they had ever seen. Long, curved, black, covered in strange symbols. Vu whispered, That's not human. But look, Rail pointed, on the hull of the strange ship, painted in white. Letters worn, faded were the words, Uns Pioneer. Everyone stared in silence. Ray stepped forward. But how? That ship vanished a century ago, Vu whispered. Myra looked grim. Prepare boarding gear, she said. We're going in. They docked carefully. The airlock opened with a hiss. No lights. No power. Just shadows. They stepped onto the Uns Pioneer. The halls were empty. Walls scratched. Dust floating like snow. The ship looked too old. Like it had aged thousands of years. Vu activated her scanner. Minimal power. Some doors might open. They walked through dead corridors. Suddenly, a light flickered ahead. They moved closer. A door was open. Inside, a chair sat facing a wall of screens. One was still on. A man sat in the chair. Hello? Myra called. No reply. They walked closer. Vu gasped. He's dead. The man was skeletal. Dried skin, torn suit. But in his hands, he held a recorder. Reyes took it gently. Myra pressed play. The voice crackled to life. This is Captain Adrian Locke, Uns Pioneer. If anyone finds this, turn back. We found it. Or it found us. We tried to study it, tried to contain it, but it changed us. We stopped being human, one by one. It didn't kill. It rewrote us. I'm the last. I sealed them in the lower decks, but they're still moving. The dead zone is not empty. It's a cage, and it's waking up. God help Earth if it escapes. The recorder clicked. Off. The crew stood frozen. Then a voice whispered behind them. Too late. There was no sound, no breath, no movement. The crew of the Uns Valor stood frozen aboard the dead ship Uns Pioneer and listened to the last words of a man who had died alone. Too late. The voice had come from behind them, but when they turned around, no one was there. Flashlights cut across the dark walls. Shadows danced. Nothing moved. No signs of life. Yet they felt it. Something unseen. Watching. Listening. Captain Mira Dorn raised her hand slowly. No one panics. Stay sharp. Back to the ship now. The others nodded, eyes wide. They left the room, footsteps echoing on the metal floor. As they moved, the ship felt different, darker, heavier. The lights behind them flickered. And died. Vu turned. Did that hallway just... Mira cut her off. Don't stop. Move. They reached the airlock. It slid open with a hiss. The moment they stepped onto their own ship, the Uns Valor, they sealed the door shut. Chief Engineer Sol Reyes punched the lock. Silence again. No one spoke for a while. Finally, Dr. Lion Vu broke it. We should leave. We've seen enough. Commander Rail nodded. Agreed. Whatever's on that ship, it's not natural. Myra looked at them. You all heard the message. Captain Locke said it wasn't killing them. It was changing them. Vu swallowed. What does that even mean? Reyes answered. Some kind of mind virus? A signal? Maybe the zone does something to your brain. Rail shook his head. It wasn't just mental. That body, it didn't rot like normal. It looked different, almost petrified. Myra leaned on the console. He also said something else, that the zone was a cage, that whatever's here wants out. Vu looked at her carefully. Captain, are we thinking about going deeper? Mira didn't answer at first. Then she whispered, we didn't come this far to turn back now. Hours passed. The crew rested in shifts, but no one truly slept. They had all felt it, that strange presence on the Pioneer. The air inside that ship had felt wrong. Heavy, like something old, was breathing through the metal. And then there was the last message. It's waking up. Vu stayed awake longer than the rest. She sat at her desk, reviewing the strange coin they had found floating in their cargo bay. The symbols on it still glowed faintly. She scanned it again. No match in any galactic database. Not human, not alien. Unknown material. Yet, it vibrated when she held it near her chest, like it could feel her heartbeat. A whisper passed through her head. You see it now. She stood quickly. Who said that? No one was in the room. She rushed to the hallway, looked left and right. Empty. Then, she saw it again. A shape. A flicker at the far end. She ran after it. Her boots echoed on the floor. Lights above her flickered as she passed. She turned a corner and stopped. A mirror? No. It was her. Standing at the end of the hallway, but not her. The eyes were wrong. Too wide. Too deep. Too knowing. And then the double smiled and vanished. Vu screamed. The crew gathered again on the bridge. Vu explained everything. Her vision. The voice. The copy. It's in our heads now, she said. We're breathing it. Whatever the zone is, it's alive. Reyes leaned forward. That's it, right? We're done? We head back now. Rail hesitated. Navigation's not responding. I've tried plotting a return course. Every time, the coordinates loop. Mara stared. What do you mean? Rail pointed at the screen. We try to go back. We end up in the same place. Like we're trapped, Vu whispered. Reyes slammed his fist on the wall. We should have never come. Mira turned away from the crew and looked at the black void ahead. No stars, no movement. Just endless darkness, Dot, she whispered. Then we go forward. The others stared at her. If we can't go back, she said, then the way out is through. She tapped the control panel. Prepare deep scans. Power up secondary engines. Let's find what's pulling us. They traveled slowly through the dead zone. Time felt strange. Hours passed. Its system said it was only minutes. Some parts of the ship began to glitch. Lights dimmed for no reason. Internal doors refused to open. AI voices stuttered or spoke in languages no one had programmed. Dot and the coin? It began to glow brighter. Vu locked it in a glass case, but it pulsed like a heartbeat. Then came the voices. First soft, then louder. They spoke in many tongues, alien, human, ancient. Some whispered memories from the crew's own pasts. Others spoke names of people they had lost. At one point, Mira heard her father's voice. He had died when she was 16. You came here, the voice said, because you were always meant to. She stood still, eyes wide, then shook it off. Bridge to crew, she said through combs. We found something. A massive object floated ahead, larger than any station, shaped like a wheel but broken, like it had once spun to generate. Gravity, long ago. It wasn't on any chart. No beacon. No lights. Vu's scans lit up. This structure, it's old. Pre-galactic age. Could be millions of years old. Possibly the origin of the dead zone itself. Rail narrowed. His eyes. Is that a docking ring? It was. A port. Large enough for their ship. Reyes laughed nervously. Perfect. Let's just dock with the haunted space temple. What could go wrong? Mira didn't laugh. Bring us in, she ordered. The docking process was manual. Rail guided the Valor slowly. The ship shuddered as it connected. They geared up again, suits, weapons, lights. As the airlock opened. No one breathed. What they saw was not a hallway. It was a cathedral. The inside of the station was massive vaulted ceilings, strange crystal walls, and carvings that seemed to shimmer when no one looked directly at them. Symbols lined the walls. Vu scanned them. These are warning glyphs, repeated over and over. Translates roughly to, do not wake the sleeper. Too late for that. Reyes muttered. They walked deeper into the structure. Every step echoed like thunder. In the center of the station, they found a roomosphere made of black stone, floating without support. Inside it, something pulsed. A shape. Not alive, not dead, and not alone. For inside that black sphere, they saw the crew of the Pioneer, floating, unmoving. But their eyes opened. Watching. Changed. Vu gasped. They're not human anymore. Reyes stepped back. We need to leave. But Myra stared into the sphere. One of the figures, Captain Adrian. Locke moved his hand. Barely. And pointed at her. Vu looked at Myra. What's he doing? I think, Myra whispered. He's warning us. Then the lights in the station flickered. The walls pulsed, and a voice, not human, spoke through the ship's systems. You came to find it. Now you will carry it. The gate opens. A sound like cracking glass echoed through the halls. Reyes grabbed Myra's shoulder. We need to go now. But it was already too late. The sphere cracked, and something stepped out. The sphere cracked. A thin line appeared on its surface. Light bled from the cracked dark light, as if shadows had turned into fire. Then it opened. Not fast, not loud. It opened like a door that had waited too long. Slow, heavy, and hungry. From inside, something stepped out. It wasn't a person. It wasn't a creature. It was a shape, wearing the memory of something once human. Its skin shimmered like smoke trapped in glass. Its eyes glowed not bright, but deep, infinite. like black holes. Behind a mask, Captain Myra Dorn raised her weapon. Don't move. The shape didn't stop. It floated. Silent. Peaceful. Vu backed away. That's not Locke. That's not Captain Locke. The shape smiled, just a little, and spoke, but the voice didn't come from its mouth. It came from inside their heads. You opened the gate. You crossed the silence. Now we remember. Rail yelled, back to the ship move. They ran. The hall behind them twisted. Literally. Walls bent. Floors rippled. The station wasn't a place, it was a being. And now that being was awake, Reyes slammed a beacon against the floor to mark their path. This place isn't architecture, it's alive, Vu shouted. Don't look at the walls. They react. One crew member turned his head by accident and screamed. His body arched backward. His skin turned white. And then he vanished. No sound. No blood. Just gone. Myra turned her face forward and yelled, Run! Don't stop. They reached the airlock. It didn't open. The console blinked red. Rail smashed the panel. Locked. From the other side, Myra shouted into her comms, Valor! Unlock Bay 1. We're under attack. No answer. She tried again. Silence. Then. The ship responded, but the voice wasn't their AI. You brought it aboard. The Valor is no longer yours. Inside the ship, lights dimmed. The crew's rooms, once clean and warm, flickered with strange shadows. The bridge was empty. Someone, something, sat in Myra's chair. It looked like her, but it smiled too much. And its eyes were all wrong. It watched the crew from the cameras and whispered to the ship itself. Let them run. Let them fear. They are seeds now. Outside on the station, Mira took a breath. We're locked out. The ship isn't responding. Reyes cursed. Then we're stranded. In the dark. With that thing chasing us. Vu checked. Her scanner. There's one more signal ahead. Not the Pioneer. Not the station. She looked up slowly. There's another ship. Smaller. Nearby. But, Mira asked, but what? Vu looked confused. It's not on the map. It's not giving off heat. Not even mass. Reyes blinked. That's not possible. Vu showed. Her screen. It's there. I see it. But the numbers say? It's not real. Myra's voice was low. Let's go see it anyway. They walked through the station's lower halls. This part was different. Quiet. Empty. Clean. No lights flickered. Here. No sounds followed. Only one thing was wrong. Gravity was sideways. They walked on walls. Ceilings. Doors opened in the floor. Time bent too. Vu saw her own footsteps appear before she walked. Rail whispered, This place is broken. They reached. A hangar. Inside, floating above a dark platform, was a ship. Sleek, long, black metal that seemed to drink the light. Vu stepped forward. It's human design. Reyes nodded. But not from our time. The ship had the markings of Earthbutt. Written backward, mirrored like a dream. It read, Uns Revenant. Myra frowned. That ship doesn't exist. Vu slowly turned toward her. It will. The ship's airlock opened by itself. No sound. Just a slow hiss. They entered. It felt familiar. Same layout as Valor. Same colors. Same chairs. Same smell. But it wasn't. Their ship. And it was empty. Vu walked to the console. There's no power. She touched the glass screen. It turned on. Reyes stepped back. No core. No wires. How? Vu whispered. It's reading our thoughts. The console showed Myra's face, then Vu's. Then words appeared. You are already becoming. Vu fell back. This ship. It's connected to us. Lights turned on. Rail saw something outside. He screamed. Mira rushed to him. Outside the window, floating in the hangar, was the Un's Valor. But, she said, we left it behind. It was back at the station. Reyes looked confused. No, we were always here. Vu whispered, no, time loop. It's folding. Myra looked at her. Explain. Vu sat on the floor. This zone doesn't. Obey time. Every step we take is a layer. We just stepped into a version of now that includes our own future. Reyes sat too. So, this ship is ours? From a time that hasn't happened? Vu nodded slowly. Yes, Rael pointed again. Then what is that? Everyone turned. Floating between the two ships was another version of the Pioneer. Its windows glowed red. Its hull cracked open like ribs, and inside dozens of floating human forms. Not dead, not alive. Changed. Vu single quotes. Voice trembled. Those are versions of us, from other timelines, other failures. Myra stood slowly. Then this is the final warning. She turned to the Revenant. We're not just exploring anymore. We're part of the prison. Suddenly, the screen blinked. A voice played. Not human. Not alien. Cold, calm, deep. Your minds open the door. Your memories feed the gate. You are the last chance. The ship rumbled. Outside. The hangar walls cracked. The Pioneer floated closer. Vu's eyes went wide. They're going to crash into us. Myra stepped to the console. No, we fly. Reyes blinked. This ship's real? Myra placed her hand on the control. The ship answered. Engines roared. Not fire, but thought. The ship moved. It felt like flying through water. Through memory. Through dream. The Un's Revenant left the station behind. Behind them, the black sphere shattered fully, and something massive unfolded from it, like a god, made of silence. Eyes without light. A voice came once more. You found the ship that wasn't there. Now run, before it remembers you. The crew of the Valkyrie Dawn had grown used to the dark silence of the dead zone. No stars, no signals, no signs of life. Just black space stretching in all directions, like a void that wanted to swallow them whole. But on the 24th day, the silence broke. It started small. A flicker. One blink on the monitor. A pulse that shouldn't exist. Dr. Alice was the first to see it. She had been staring at the data screen for hours, logging radiation levels, gravitational shifts, anything that could help explain the quiet. Then, for a brief second, the lights dimmed. Just a flicker. She blinked, rubbed her eyes, and waited. Nothing. She leaned closer, tapped the side of her screen. Again. A flicker. This time, not just her console, every light on the bridge blinked. In perfect unison, just once, Captain Reyes looked up. Report. Power systems are stable, Chief Roan said quickly from engineering. No error in the core. Another crewman added. It's the dead zone, Dr. Alice said quietly. It's not empty anymore. They stared at her. It's trying to talk, she whispered. That got everyone's attention. Commander Sullen, the ship's second in command, shook his head. Nothing lives in the dead zone. Everyone knows that. Dr. Alice replied, What if it's not something living? The crew gathered on the bridge, watching as a wave of quiet dread passed over them. Then the lights flickered again twice this time. A pattern, a rhythm, not random. Like a message. Morse? Code? A warning? The captain gave the order. Cut engines. Go silent. No response. I want all sensors focused outward. The crew obeyed. Hours passed. Nothing moved outside. But the power flickers continued short. Pulsing signals spaced exactly 11 minutes apart. Always the same. 2 flashes. Then silence. It's too precise, Alice muttered. It's intelligent. Could be a trap, Sullen said. Could be trying to draw us out. Or a distress call, Roan offered. No ship would survive here this long, Reyes reminded them. No one should be alive out there. Still, the pulses came. Then, on the seventh signal, everything changed. One of the forward cameras picked up motion. Not fast. Just a slow, drifting object moving across the blackness. No heat, no light, no clear shape. But it was definitely there. Shadow against the shadow. What is that? Solon whispered. Not a ship, Ali said. Too irregular. Too ... alive. The object wasn't moving toward them. It was circling, almost like it was watching. Roan shut down all non-essential power. Lights dimmed, air systems slowed. The Valkyrie Dawn became a floating ghost in the dark, hoping whatever was out there didn't notice. But it already had. Pulses changed 3 flickers now, then silence, then 4, then 5. A countdown. Captain Reyes stood still, eyes fixed on the display. It's not trying to talk. It's hunting, Solon said. No, Ali said with a dry throat. It's warning us. The lights blinked 6 times. The motion outside increased. The object had grown larger or closer. They couldn't tell. The image was distorted. The camera feed cut out for 2 seconds, then came back, full of static. But what they saw in that flash made everyone freeze. The shadow wasn't a ship. It wasn't a rock dot. It had eyes. Rows of faint, glowing lights along what looked like jagged, uneven skin. And it blinked, just like the lights inside the ship. It's copying us. Ali's breathed. No, Captain Reyes said grimly. It learned. From us. The countdown hit 7. Then 8. The crew scrambled, but the captain held up a hand. Don't run. We don't know what it wants. We don't even know if we can run. Roan whispered, Sir, we're sitting in a coffin. Reyes nodded. Better to sit and listen than flee and die. 9 blinks. Everyone stared at the overhead lights, now flickering wildly. Sparks hissed from one of the consoles. A humming noise built in the walls, like something clawing into the power systems. Then, silence. 10. The lights went out. All of them. Total darkness. For 10 seconds, the crew heard only their breathing, and the emergency red lights came on, and the object was gone. The camera feeds returned. Nothing out there. Just blackness again. The countdown had stopped. A new message flashed on the main screen. No one had typed it. No system had received it. It just appeared 5 glowing words in gray text. You shouldn't be here. Captain Reyes read it aloud. That's not a threat. It's a final warning, Ali said. Roan slowly backed. Away from the console. Sir, this thing didn't kill us. Why? Reyes whispered, because it's not finished. Outside the ship, deep in the distance, a series of faint lights began to glow dozens, maybe hundreds. Each blinked in a different pattern. Each one. A message. The dead zone wasn't empty. It was full and watching, and now they knew the humans had come. No one truly understood the dead zone. It was a place spoken of only in whispers, where ships vanished without a trace, where no signal escaped, and where the galaxy's bravest captains turned away in silence. But now, a single human crew was inside it, and still alive. Captain Raylan stood at the bridge of the Odyssey, his eyes locked on the swirling storm of energy outside. The stars here looked wrong, twisted, as if reality itself was trying to scream. Status report, he said calmly, though every nerve in his body was tight. Nova. The ship's II replied, all systems holding, but external scans are unreliable. It's like the sensors are lying. Lieutenant Darrow frowned at his console. Captain, I don't trust the readings. 1 second we're near a neutron star. The next we're floating in open void. No gravity waves, said Commander Alira. No radiation spikes. But I can feel something watching us. The ship creaked, though there was no pressure change. Raylan took a slow breath. Keep going. We're here now. Let's find out what's inside this place. The galaxy had always avoided the dead zone, not because of what was known, but because of what wasn't. Alien empires had lost entire fleets here. Probes never returned. The one thing all reports agreed on was this: no one who entered ever sent a message back. Until now. The Odyssey moved deeper. Stars vanished behind them, like fading lights. And then, as they crossed a threshold that no sensor could detect, everything changed. The ship jolted. Systems flickered. Gravity shifted sideways for 1 second before correcting. Nova's voice cracked. "Captain, something is inside our systems." "What?" Alira snapped. Raylan leaned forward. "Explain. I don't know. It's not code. It's not a virus. It's more like an idea, a thought. But it's rewriting me." Raylan's voice hardened. "Lock down the AI core. Cut external data flow. Full isolation." Too late. The screens lit up with symbols. Not text, not images. Just patterns. They twisted in ways the eye didn't like. Crew members began to react strangely. Darrow dropped to his knees. "They're here." Alira drew her weapon. "Who's here?" "I don't know," Darrow said, shaking. "But I can hear them in my head. They're angry. We're not supposed to be here." Raylan forced calm. "Secure him." "Nova, status." "I'm holding," Nova said. "But I feel infected. Something is crawling through my thoughts." The crew pushed forward. They reached what looked like an old derelict station floating in the void. But it wasn't on any record. No beacon, no markings. Just dead metal. "We're docking," Raylan ordered. "Suit up." The station's airlock hissed open. Inside, it was quiet. Too quiet. Dust floated in the air like it had been undisturbed. For centuries. But the architecture was alien. Not any race known to the galaxy. Then they found it. A single room round in the center. A sphere hovered silently, glowing with dim white light. Alira stepped forward. "It's a message." Raylan stared. "From who?" "I think." Nova's voice came through their suit cones. "It's from the first crew who ever came here. From before humans even left Earth. From before Earth even knew space existed." "What?" Raylan stepped closer. There were bones beside the sphere. Human bones. Impossible. The sphere flared suddenly. Their suits went dark. Comms died. For 1 full minute, no one moved. And then, the sphere spoke. In perfect, clear English. "You were warned, but you came anyway. Now we are awake." Lights flickered. The station groaned. Something moved in the walls. Not machines, something living. Raylan grabbed Alira's arm. Back to the ship, now. But it was too late. The walls opened, not physically, but like a door in the mind. Each crew member saw something different. Darrow saw his dead sister Dash, screaming. Lira. Saw herself older, hollow, broken. Raylan saw Earth burning. "Run!" He shouted. The Odyssey was still docked. They pushed through. Nova fought to keep the systems alive. "I can't hold them." Nova shouted. "They're not code. They're ideas, sentience, thought beings." The station behind them began to collapse inwards. Not explode, collapse, as if it was never real. As the Odyssey broke away and sped toward the edge of the dead zone. The crew gasped in silence. No one spoke. Nova was silent for a moment. Then her voice came back, broken. "Captain, they're not just in the zone. They are the zone." Raylan stared at the vanishing stars behind them. What did we just wake up? And from the darkness of space, something blinked. A single eye. Watching. Waiting. The dead zone was no longer asleep. The ship drifted through the black mist like a ghost. No stars, no signals, just endless dark. It felt like the galaxy had vanished. The Valkyrie 7 was deep inside the dead zone now. Captain Mara stood on the bridge, arms folded tight. Her face was calm, but her eyes were sharp. The crew had stopped talking hours ago. The silence outside had crept into their minds. Even the ship's AI lowered its voice, as if afraid to speak too loud. "Still nothing on scans," said Lieutenant Ryan, checking his screen again. "Dead as space," muttered Jenkins from engineering. Like this place was never alive to begin with. They had crossed into the core. No ships had ever made it this far. Most vanished before they even reached this line. The map showed nothing ahead. Just static. Mara pressed a button on her console. "Commander Rika, status?" The reply came slow. Her voice sounded distant, like it had traveled too far. "Systems holding, shields at 80%. But the further we go, the heavier it feels. Like gravity's wrong." "It's not gravity," said Dr. Sellin, walking into the bridge. "It's pressure. Something is watching. Not from one place. From everywhere." Mara stared at her. "You sure it's not just—" "No. We all feel it. We just won't say it out loud." Suddenly, the lights flickered. "EMP pulse?" asked Ryan. "No," said Jenkins. "Power core's fine. It's not us." Something out there touched the ship. Then they heard it. A sound through the hull. Soft, like fingers dragging across metal. Not once, not random. It moved slowly like a thing circling them. Ryan turned pale. "That's not possible. Nothing's out there." "Visual now," Mara barked. "The outer cameras activated." At first, nothing. Just darkness. Then, movement. Something slithered across the camera's view. No shape, just a blur. A smear of black shifting through black. Then another. And another. "Multiple objects," Ryan whispered. "But the scanners, they still show nothing." Mara leaned forward. "How do you fight what doesn't appear?" Suddenly, the ship shook. Impact. Rear hull. Jenkins shouted, "Seal." "All bulkheads," Mara ordered. "Get the drones out. I want eyes in every corridor." The internal cameras lit up. One by one. The hallways came online. Most were empty. Then they saw it. Hallway C7. A mist inside the ship. It was moving. "Life support breach?" asked Rika over comms. "No," Sellin said slowly. "That mist is not from here." The fog crept down the corridor, and the lights behind it went dark. Like the power itself was afraid. The crew watched in silence. One light, then another, blacked out as the mist passed. "It's heading toward engineering," Jenkins said, fear rising. Mara turned. "Fall back to safe zone, lock all doors. I want full armor on every team." Outside, the ship's outer sensors picked up new movement. Dozens? No, hundreds of small black shapes were forming around them. Like a cloud growing thicker. Ryan gasped. "We're inside something. Some kind of hive?" "No," Sellin said softly. "Not a hive. A graveyard that still remembers." The AI's voice returned. This time, it was shaking. "Captain, incoming transmission." Mara's eyes widened. From who? The screen flickered. Symbols flashed, old symbols. From before the Galactic Union. From Earth's dark past. A voice came through. Broken. Distorted. But human. "You're not alone." That was all. Then silence. Who was that? Ryan asked. Mara stared at the message on screen. The signal was coming from deep, far deeper than their current position. Deeper than any ship could reach. "Trace it," she ordered. "I want to know where that came from." They followed the signal trail. And found something. A ship. A massive one. Hidden in the mist. Covered in old Earth markings. Rusted, scarred. But still alive. Holy hell. Jenkins said. That's a Terran dreadnought, but it's not on any record. Mara read the name written across the hull. EVS Titan SHADOW Selin whispered. That ship vanished 300 years ago? And it just sent us a warning, Mara said, or a call. Suddenly, the internal mist stopped moving. So did the shadows outside. Everything paused. Then the power dropped. All systems off. No lights. No sound. Only one thing remained. The voice again. Leave now, or be part of it forever. Rayanne shouted. It's not a threat. It's a choice. Mara stood up. Calm, strong. We don't run. Not from ghosts. Not from legends. She looked around at her crew. Get me that ship open. We're going in. And so the Valkyrie 7 turned toward the dead Terran warship, surrounded by a sea of silence and shadows. A place no human had walked in centuries. Behind them, the mist thickened. The dead zone watched. And waited. The ship was quiet. Too quiet. Captain Rico stood on the dark bridge of the Venture. All lights were dimmed. Only the red emergency glow gave color to the steel walls. The crew didn't speak. They listened. The signal was still playing. A strange, looping sound, human in origin. But no one knew how it got here. They were deep inside the dead zone. A place no one came back from. Not aliens, not scouts, not machines, nothing. Yet the signal was there. It had human structure. It had Earth-based code, but Earth denied it. No such mission launched, they had told Rico. No human ships in that area. Dead zone is off limits. But the signal was real, and it called for help. It was simple. 8 seconds long. Then it repeated. And repeated. A voice, crying. Still here. Still waiting, cold. Rico felt it the first time she heard it. Something was wrong. It didn't sound like distress. It sounded cursed. But she couldn't ignore it. She was human. And humans didn't leave their own behind. She had voted. With her crew. 10 said yes. 2 said no. 1 resigned. Now they were inside the zone. And the signal had changed. It no longer repeated. Now it spoke. New words. Don't come closer. But it was too late. The Venture's engines failed. Lights flickered. Gravity spun sideways. People floated for a second before crashing down again. A scream came from the lower deck. Then silence. Then static. Bridge, this is engineering. Do you copy? No answer. Bridge, this is medical. Can you hear us? Silence. Only the voice remained. Still human. Still crying. Still cold. Down in engineering. Technician Zhao locked the doors. She had seen something. Something moving without noise. Not walking, gliding. Not solid, but not light either. Its shape was wrong. It wasn't human, but it looked like one. At first. Zhao shook, pressing her back to the console. The power was gone, but the signal remained. The voice was inside her ears. Not through speakers. Through her bones. Like it lived inside her now. Her skin crawled. Her chest felt tight. Suddenly, the lights blinked red. 1 second only. Then dark again. But in that second, she saw it. A shape in the corner. Watching. Smiling. Mouth too wide. Eyes too black. And it whispered, come closer. Zhao screamed. No one heard. On the bridge, Rico held the emergency pistol tight. Only 3 of her crew remained there now. Navigator, Keen, pilot Sora, and the AI core offline. Sora's voice trembled. We shouldn't be here. I know. Rico said, but someone called us. No one's calling us now. Suddenly, a new signal came. Loud, fast, human, but wrong. The screen lit up. A face appeared. It looked like Rico. Same hair. Same eyes. Same scars. But not her. The thing smiled. Then said in Rico's voice, you should have stayed out. The face melted into static. Blood began to drip from the ceiling, but there was no one above. Meanwhile, Keen opened the escape pod. Hatch, we leave now, we survive. No, Rico said. We leave, and this thing follows. Sora whispered. It followed the last crew. Everyone turned. What? Sora looked pale. I read the signal wrong. It wasn't a call for help. It was a trap. It copies human voices, lures other humans in. Keen's hands shook. Why? Why us? Because we answered. Deep inside the ship, in Cargo Bay 4, something opened. Not a door, not a hatch. A space opened. Inside it, stars, but not right. Not our stars. A different sky. A cold, black one. Something stepped out. Tall. Thin. Wearing a face. Like Rico's. It walked down the hall. Each step silent. Each breath wrong. It smiled again. Then split its head in half and screamed. Alarms failed. Sora ran. Keen shot. Himself. Rico faced it. One pistol. One. Magazine. 7 bullets. Not enough. The thing moved fast. Rico fired. One hit. Nothing. 2 hit. Thing. 3. Miss. The thing laughed. A deep, dry laugh. Riko. Screamed back and charged. It caught her arm. Broke it like paper. She fell. But before she blacked out, she pressed the beacon. An ancient one. Human tech. Cold War era. One purpose. Send a warning across the stars. Her final breath whispered, don't. Come. Far away, Earth picked up the new signal. Old. Rough, weak, clear. Rico's voice, one line, over and over. Dead zone is not empty. It learns. Don't answer it again. But someone would. Because humans always do. And the thing in the dead zone? It waits. With a new voice now. Rico's. And it smiles. Wider. It started with a glow. A single bright flare in the heart of the dead zone. No one knew who lit it. No one knew how it was even possible. But for the first time in centuries, the dark part of the galaxy, cold, silent, and feared by all, was shining. The other species panicked. From their high thrones and floating cities, alien empires watched in horror. The dead zone was cursed. Nothing lived there. Nothing came back. It was the graveyard of ancient civilizations. A place left untouched, buried under layers of dread. But now, there was light. And at the center of that light, one ship floated. Alone. Human. The Horizon Breaker. Its hull was cracked, scorched by battles no one had seen. Signals pulsed from its core, strong, slow, steady. Not a call for help. A warning. Back on Earth, the United Human Coalition had gone silent. No response. Not from military command, not from the science divisions. All eyes were on that one ship, sitting deep inside the galaxy's most feared space. Captain Elara Voss stood on the deck of the Horizon Breaker, her armor scorched, helmet held under one arm. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned. Around her, her crew, just 11 humans left, moved like shadows, quiet, sharp, ready. They weren't running. They had come to fight, and what they found in the dead zone had changed them. It had taken 7 parts of the story to reach this moment. 7 missions, 7 betrayals, 7 blood-soaked discoveries. Now everything was ready. The galaxy had made its choices. Now it would face the fire. The flare wasn't just light. It was a message. To every empire that had laughed when Earth begged for peace. To every species that had sent spies, poisoned alliances, sabotaged human ships. To the ancient ones who whispered from behind black stars, feeding the war. The beacon in the dead zone was the human reply. And it was only the beginning. Flare lasted exactly 12 minutes. Then it faded, leaving behind an echo that rippled across space like a scream made of thunder. The signal reached the Krell Dominion in 4 hours. The High Warden, Read it 3 times. We go to war, he whispered. The signal reached the Arvathy. Conglomerate in 6 hours. They didn't wait. They began evacuation of all outposts near the dead zone. The signal reached the Vorax hive in 8 hours. Queen blinked once, then ordered every ship armed. Prepare for extinction, she said. The signal reached the shard mines last. Their ancient minds twitched. They felt something buried deep within the message. Not a weapon. Not tech. A choice. And they remembered something the humans had once said long ago. We came in peace, but we don't die quiet. The crew of the Horizon Breaker didn't sleep. They didn't eat much. They had buried friends here. They had made impossible choices here. Ilara stood beside the core as it pulsed. Softly. The beacon had done its job. Now the galaxy would come. Not with questions. With fleets. And they were ready. Not to win, but to remind the galaxy why humans were feared when pushed too far. The first fleet arrived. Vorax ships. Insect-like. Fast. Armed. Hundreds of them. But the Horizon Breaker didn't fire. Instead, Ilara opened a channel. This place is under human protection, she said. Turn around. Or learn what we found here. They laughed at her. The Vorax were not known for mercy. They attacked. What followed wasn't a battle. It was a lesson. The core of the Horizon Breaker pulsed again. But this time, it didn't send light. It sent silence. A wave, invisible, powerful. It struck the Vorax fleet like a curse. Their ships froze mid-space. Lights dimmed. Weapons powered down. And something else happened. Screaming. Across all channels. Vorax voices howled. We see it. We see it. The darkness walks again. And then the ships turned on each other. Within minutes, the entire fleet had torn itself apart. Not a single human weapon had fired. Just the core. Just the silence. What did you find in the dead zone? The Arvathy ambassador asked. His hologram flickered in the Horizon Breaker's war room. Ilara didn't blink. The truth, she said. What truth? That the dead zone isn't dead, she whispered. It's dreaming. More fleets came. More empires sent their armies. Each met the beacon. Each met the silence. Each returned broken. If they returned at all, the galaxy began to shift. Empires whispered. Others begged Earth to explain. But Earth had stopped speaking, because Earth had finally understood. They didn't need to be part of the Galactic Council. They didn't need approval. They didn't even need allies. They had something else now. They had the core. They had the truth. And they had a crew of 12 humans inside the heart of the galaxy's nightmare. 12 warriors with nothing left to lose. One by one, the crew started making final recordings. Lieutenant Mace left a message for his daughter. I'm sorry I couldn't make it home, but I gave you a future. Engineer Dao whispered goodbye to her brother. Keep building. Don't stop. Medic Rena left no words, just a soft humming. A song from Earth. Ilara made her final message short. To the stars we came looking for. Peace. You answered with war. We lit a beacon. Now let's see who survives the dark. In the final moments, as the largest coalition fleet ever seen formed outside the dead zone's edge, a second flare lit up the stars. This one wasn't human. It came from deeper. From something ancient. Something that had been watching. Waiting. Elara smiled. They're awake, she said. And for the first time in history, the galaxy feared the dark for a reason. Because now the humans had made it their home, and they weren't alone. Not anymore. The silence didn't last. It began with a flicker. A single red dot blinked on the edge of the ship's sensor grid. Too small to be a ship, too fast to be debris. Captain Myra's fingers hovered above the command panel. Every instinct in her screamed one thing. Run. But it was too late. The ship shook violently. Alarms howled. The walls groaned like the zone itself was waking up, and it was angry. Ensign Juno shouted, "Something's pulling us gravitational distortion, but it's moving." The crew had already seen strange things. Ships vanishing. Ghost signals. Static that spoke. But this was different. This wasn't the dead zone watching. It was responding. Brace. Mira yelled Dot the next moment. It hit them. A ripple tore through space outside. A black wave shimmered across the stars. It didn't move like any natural force. It twisted reality itself, warping light, dragging time like it was made of cloth. The ship's hull creaked under pressure it wasn't built to handle. And then, silence again, except something was inside. A low hum echoed from the cargo hold. Unnatural. Wrong. It wasn't power failure. It was a sound with a pattern. Like a voice too deep to hear, speaking through the metal. Lieutenant Caro ran a scan. His hands were shaking. There's something down there. It wasn't on board before. No airlock opened. No hull breach. But it's here. The hold door was sealed. But it began to bulge outward, pulsing. Like it was breathing. No one opens that door, Mira said firmly. But the lights flickered again. Then the door opened on its own. The crew stared into the darkness. Cold air poured out. And deep inside, 2 glowing red orbs appeared. Not eyes. Sensors, maybe. Or something pretending to have eyes. Dot. It didn't attack. Dot. It just watched. KAR. Oh, whispered. It's studying us. But they were also studying it. And what they found shattered them. The creature or machine was made from a mesh of known technologies. Human alloy. Koth wiring, Zarn crystal core. It was built from parts of ships that had vanished in the zone. Dot. It was the missing. Somehow, everything. The zone swallowed. Had been reborn, but there was more. It was learning, evolving. It scanned each crew member and adjusted its shape slightly, arms elongating, posture shifting, like it was becoming them. Juno stepped forward too quickly. We need to talk to it. It moved. Dot. In an instant. It was in front of her, less than a breath away. No sound, no warning. The crew pulled weapons. But it raised its hand. No threat, just calm. Then it made a sound. Not a growl, not a screech, but language. Slow, harsh, digital but unmistakable. You are different. Myra felt her stomach drop. Dot. It knew they were human. That it had seen other species before. But humans? They were new. And now, this thing, this intelligence formed from centuries of lost ships, was curious. Too curious. Dot. It took a step forward again. Myra lifted her rifle. Stop. It paused. Then, for the first time, it responded visibly. It raised its own arm, and in a blur, formed an exact copy of Mira's weapon. Then it pointed it at the wall and fired. A hole opened not in the ship, but in reality. A glowing tear, swirling with stars, screens, and machines. A portal, a window. On the other side was a city, a massive one. Dead, but alive. Not made by humans, not made by any known species. And all of it deep inside the zone. The creature stepped back. The portal vanished. It looked at them again. Then it said, "You come," and vanished into dust. The crew stood frozen. Nothing moved. Then the cargo lights blinked once, twice, and stabilized. It was gone. But the message was clear. Dead zone wasn't dead anymore. It wanted them to follow. And worst of all, it had chosen them. The ship was quiet now. No alarms. No voices. No more hope. Outside, the dead zone stretched wide and black. Stars had vanished. Light itself seemed afraid to enter. A human ship, Iron Will, floated like a ghost. Its hull was scarred, engines burned out, but inside, someone was still alive. Captain Mira Hall breathed slow and shallow. Her ribs were cracked. Blood ran down her arm, but her hand stayed firm on the console. One signal still blinked, a faint green dot, pulsing every few seconds. The others had told her it was useless. No one listened to transmissions from the dead zone. The galaxy had sealed off this place long ago. And no, Mira knew why. All 9 crew members were dead. Not from war, not from machines, not even from starvation. They were taken, one by one. Silent, fast, without a trace. The galaxy feared the dead zone. But Myra now understood it. It was not a place. It was a mind, and they had entered it. The moment they passed the outer rim, things changed. Time stretched, directions twisted. Crew started hearing voices, familiar voices. Some from their mothers, some from lovers who had died years ago. Some voices came from inside their own heads. At first, they ignored it. Scientists said the zone bent reality. Mira's crew was strong, smart, brave, but they were not ready. Engineer Kai was the first to vanish. He walked into the engine core. Alone. Security footage showed him smiling, talking to someone who wasn't there. And gone. Next was Dr. Rhea. She begged to turn back, said she heard her brother's voice from outside the airlock. Her brother died in the Mars War 5 years ago. Then she opened the door into space. Smiling. Gone. They died one by one. Never by violence. Never by force. The dead zone didn't kill them. It called them. And they answered. Myra had watched every log, every camera. And she had seen the pattern. The zone learned. With every human it touched, it grew better at speaking to the next. More personal, more tempting. It knew how to break the mind. Gently. Until only Mira was left. She had sealed the bridge. Disconnected. Oxygen from the rest of the ship. Turned off the lights. And waited. She drank water once a day. Ate nothing. Slept never. She would not listen. Because now the zone spoke to her in her own voice. You're already dead, Mira, it whispered. Through the vents. But you don't have to be alone. It promised comfort, peace, the return of her family, of her child, who died in the plague on Europa. Mira cried. But she didn't speak. The green dot still blinked. A signal, a log, a record. Everything they had seen, heard, touched, it was all encoded now, ready to transmit if someone came close enough. If someone cared enough to ask, what happened to the Iron Will? She knew no one would come. No rescue. No heroes. That wasn't the point. The point was truth. Let the galaxy know what lives here. Let them hear the voices. Let them choose. Because this was not just a dead place. It was a living trap. And humans went where others feared. Even if they didn't return. Far from the zone, on a distant listening post, a junior technician blinked as his screen lit up. A ping. Faint, but real. He called his commander. Sir, he said, I think we've got something from the dead zone. The commander stared, then turned pale. No one ever sends signals from there, he whispered. The technician nodded. This one is different. It's a log, and there's a warning. The message was short, rough, shaky. It was Captain Mira's voice. If you're hearing this, she said, we are lost. Don't come looking. Don't follow. This place is alive. It knows us now. It wants more. Static. Then her final words. We were never meant to return. And then silence. The message went viral. Across colonies. Across fleets. People argued. Some said it was a fake. Others believed it was real and called for the zone to be bombed, burned, are buried forever. But the truth? Some humans didn't listen. They built a new ship. Faster, stronger. Built from Iron Will's schematics. And they launched it into the dark. Because humans, they don't run from fear. They study it. They challenge it. And when the galaxy says, don't go there, they go anyway. The galaxy feared the dead zone. Now, the dead zone fears what's coming next.